All right, we finally got.
Good morning, everybody. Been kind of slacking on the Smurfette update videos. Just had a lot going on. Been doing a lot of family time stuff, so haven't got a chance to work on it. Been super busy at the shop, so been doing that. And then we took last weekend and helped Rucker on his. So we are currently headed to the good old Harbor Freight to get some materials and stuff to finish out Smurfette. We're gonna finish that thing today, minus paint. We're gonna get all the metal work done, get it ready to get ready for paint. Don't have a whole lot of paint to do on it. It's just those spots that we cut out that we're gonna fix. So other than that, man, we're tight. Like, we have this 2016 Altima that we just have for, like, just in case we need it vehicle. Well, with Smurfette being down, blue cheese is down. I haven't got started on olive oil technically, so that thing's got like miles and miles to go. So all of our hot rods are down right now, and we're down to this one vehicle, which is fine. Like, during the day I mostly drive the wrecker or the rollback because that's what I'm in most of the time, picking up cars and stuff. So but it's like, once you drive old cars or classics or whatever, and getting back in a new vehicle such as an Altima is kind of lame. Like, it's not fun, it's boring, it's quiet, it's not mechanical. I don't know. Summer and I both don't like it, so hopefully get her back in Smurfette this week. That way she can start enjoying that thing again, and then probably get going, at least get blue cheese fixed up. It's got some weird things. I don't know. We've had trans issues since, ever since I put the 480 in. So I think what we're gonna do this time, I'm not chalking it up to the Chinese wiring harness, because it lasted 30,000 miles the first time. The 4L60 lasted like 100,000 miles, and then the 4L80, the first one that we put in with the same harness, we just used the adapter, lasted 30-something thousand miles. So I'm not chalking it up to the harness, but it can't be helping it. So, and I really want to put a good BP automotive harness in it, because that's what we use on Smurfette, and it's perfect and we love it. So gonna do that probably next. I don't know, it's a toss-up. It's either we do that or we start working on olive oil and getting that thing running and driving. Obviously olive oil is gonna it takes more time and money to do, but I think we could do pretty quick turnaround on olive oil as well. I don't know yet, we'll see. I really need to get blue cheese up and running. It's one of those things, like, we were talking last night, and like, we haven't really drove blue cheese. Like, I mean, for anybody that doesn't know, Summer drove that thing for 2 years while we were building Smurfette every single day, and then I drove it before that every day. And we've been on many long trips. Like I said, we went to California, we've been to South Texas, we've been on the East Coast. Like, that thing's been all over the United States, and we have a lot of memories in it. But, and I think it's close to being time to let that thing go. I've been talking about it for a couple years now, but I mean, we haven't driven it, and because we've been having transmission issues. So I don't know, man. We may or may not hang on to it. Like I said, it's not costing me money to keep it in the stable necessarily, but it's I could use that money elsewhere, or you know, I could invest that money into the channel, or into my repair shop, towing business, or you know, anything. It's not necessarily that I have to get rid of it, but I could definitely use that money somewhere. So anyways, get yourself in a classic, drive a classic daily. These new cars are boring, they suck, I don't know, it's lame, it's boring. So we're gonna go over to Harbor Freight, get some stuff, and we'll catch you then.
You gotta love Harbor Freight, man. I came in, I got some sanding belts and some abrasives and some sandpaper to do the body work on the panels that we're welding on. And today they were giving away some free gifts. It was between these 4 ratcheting tie downs or moving blanket or something like that. So I mean, these are cheap tie downs, but they're nice to have just around. So, and they're free, dude. Can't beat that. That's sweet. All right, guys, we're back on Smurfette today. Gonna get some welding done. Got the welder finally. Obviously, you guys saw that in the unboxing. Check this out. I got this little welding cart from Harbor Freight. It was up by the front when I was checking out. Doesn't appear to be anything wrong with it. The guy that brought it back said the wheels were like wobbly, but they're plastic, bro. They're gonna be wobbly. But it was on sale for $39.99, regular $49.99. Well, without me even asking, the guy that was working at the front hollered at the manager and was like, "Hey, can we do any better on this thing? Can we get it out of here? I'm tired of tripping over it." And the manager was like, "Yes, $19.99. I'm like, sold. So got this sweet little Harbor Freight welding cart for the welder. Holds the little 40-pound bottle on the back. Pretty stoked on that. So we are going to treat this with the old weld through primer. That way none of this goes back to surface rust while we are getting this thing repaired. So I'm going to hit that with the weld through primer, get it burned in, get this other piece made, and get the cowl back on so we can drive this thing. Hopefully drive it this weekend. We're looking to go on a little family deal with my mom and dad and with his Suburban. So going to get this all patched up and ready to go. Let you guys look at this. So typically I'd like mask all this stuff off if I was going to spray anything, but I'm going to touch that up anyways because I got into it with the grinder a little bit, so you got to touch that up anyways. Not a big deal. It's the Sweet Patina blackout stuff anyway, so not a big deal. Got this, going to let this cure up a little bit here and get to welding. Also, for a peace of mind, put a welding blanket in here to cover up the carpet and the front of the seats. I don't think we'll get any splatter or anything like that in here, but like I said, just a peace of mind from burning it and potentially saving us a fire. So, all right, guys, here we go. Nice, not bad for a first tack. Nice. You guys can see that I'm jumping around here. That helps it not get so hot in one spot, and that way it's not warping or anything, which, I mean, this part's kind of curved, so it's not gonna warp a whole lot, but keeps you from putting too much heat in one spot. Dirtier metal back there, that's why you hear it cracking and popping like that. Doesn't hurt to stop every once in a while and go check out the inside and make sure there's nothing on fire. Definitely smoky in there, but I don't think anything's on fire that I can see. So we're gonna keep plugging away at this, get it all welded in solid, grind it back down nice and smooth, and get this thing finished up. I'm tired of it being down. We really enjoy driving this thing, so the faster we can get this thing back together, the faster we can get back to enjoying stuff and going on road trips. So love to bring, can't wait to bring you guys along for some road trips with the family and I. It's a lot of fun. We put a lot of miles on these things. All right, so I got my welds all ground down smooth. So what I'll do now, you can kind of see a pinhole there, some pinholes here. Obviously I got to finish welding that out. What I'll do is I'll go through and circle where I see pinholes with like a Sharpie, and get it welded up solid, and then grind it back down smooth. Alright guys, pretty much got this all welded in. I'm gonna grind those welds down a little bit, get them flattened out. Now it's on to making this patch to tie that in. We're gonna make this out of cardboard, that way we can fit it up nice, and then we'll cut it out of our sheet metal over here on the bench. Like I said, I'm going to use our cardboard to make a template. This one's kind of tough because it's not really flat, but we can kind of bend our cardboard how I see fit. I may just trace it out from the inside. We'll see here. If we mess it up, not a big deal. It's just cardboard, right? So what I can do, take our hammer and just tap along that edge. Get us a pretty good indention. It's hard to see, but get us a pretty good indention there where we need to trace. We'll cut that out, test fit it again, and see what we got. I'm going to leave this a little long around the edge of this. That way we can kind of hone in on the shape. Something like that. Alright, so the way I've got this set up, I've got it clamped to my table here, and I'm going to try to use my little body saw to cut this out. You could do it with a cutting wheel, just trying to keep the lines as good as we can. So yeah, we're gonna cut this thing out and get it test fit. That would go a lot better, but I mean, it's not a bad cut, but that was more difficult than I thought. But we'll get this cleaned up and test fit. Alright, we got that fitting up pretty good. What we're gonna do is tack it along and then kind of beat it into place where it needs to go. Alright guys, that's pretty much gonna do it for patching up this side. Like I said, it's not beautiful, but it's all covered up. There's no pinholes in it. I've ground them all down and checked it with the light from the inside. Nothing shining in or out, so that means there should be no water. Like I said, this all gets covered up anyways by that piece, so not really too terribly worried about what it looks like. Like, it looks decent, so main thing is it doesn't leak water anymore, so that's cool. So now we're going to work on getting the cowl welded back on. Then that will tie up this side until we get it painted. Still have to do the welding on this side here, little couple spots, and then obviously weld our patch back on that we cut out for the access there. So my plan was to get it done for this weekend. My mom and dad, like I said, are wanting to go on this little road trip, but realistically it's just not going to happen. So but we'll keep plugging away at it and get to enjoy this thing again pretty soon. Alright, as you guys can see, I got holes punched in this with my handy dandy Harbor Freight hole punch all the way around. That allows you to plug weld this into position where it goes, how it come from the factory. I mean, you can do it this way or you can just weld it on the edge. To me, it's easier this way. But you notice you clean up those holes, that way you get good penetration through the, so you're not trying to weld through the E-coat on this aftermarket part here. So we're gonna get this thing stuck on there and get her welded up. Alright, so I just got this held on with the self-tappers, how you guys saw me hang it earlier. Helps it hold it in place. This is just me. And then what we'll do is kind of, it's hard to see from over there, but right here, this is nice and tight now. So what we'll do is plug weld here, go along where it's still tight, and then it's kind of down here, it kind of starts to work away a little bit. What we'll do, once that's plug welded, we can tap it in, boom, 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 and get it to fit tight before we weld it. Up here, I'm gonna have to either pinch this together, weld here, smack it down a little bit. It's a finesse deal. You got to take it nice and slow and just kind of work your way around. It's not gonna fit perfect. Not every truck is exactly the same, so you're just gonna have to work with what you got and make it happen. So let's get this thing welded on here. The key is to get it nice and hot on the panel that's behind it, and then work your way out and penetrate it into the new stuff. All right. So we're gonna go one more right here, and then I'm gonna smack this one down. So while that's still pretty warm, I'm gonna go ahead and try to Alright, you guys can hear that. Got it pretty tight. Also, what you can do is move your screw, your self-tapper. You can get it welded on each side of your self-tapper, and then just move your self-tapper down and get it sucked up. cell tapper. May move him over here somewhere. You might be thinking, oh man, you just fixed all that. Now you're putting holes back in it. Yes and no. I can weld it back up, first of all. Secondly, helps you get your tight fit on your panel. Change my mind. I think I want to go. I'm going to get this welded up first before that way we can kind of work around, get it fitting better up top here. All right. Got her plug welded in there. Had to butt weld a couple of the spots because it's really hard to get that plug weld hot on that piece of metal underneath to get good penetration on both. But we got her on there. I'm going to knock some of the weld off the top just to clean it up some, because we are going to paint from here up and around. Basically that whole piece that we put on, it's going to get painted to match the firewall because this is exposed, as you can see how it is on this side. But yeah, finally got that thing on there. Man, it fought me a little more than I thought it was going to, but we got her on there, so thank goodness. Tired of it. So all right, on to cleaning the welds up on this side and on to that side to get that knocked out. All right, guys. We got the welds ground down as about as good as we're going to get them. We're going to go ahead and get some dolphin glaze put on there. It's a fine filler to fill in that deal there. We did that on this originally and it worked great, so hoping for the same results. There's just so many steps of sheet metal there that you can't ever get them just completely flush without grinding your weld all the way away. So we're going to fill that, get it body worked, and we're going to jump on this side, get this piece made, get it welded in, and get the patch panel made, or not made, get the patch panel welded back in and get that side body worked. And hopefully everything in color today. Only thing I don't have is the satin clear. So we are going to get that tomorrow and get the satin clear on and get this thing done and get to driving it again. So we are going to mix our dolphin glaze up here. This is your little activator that comes with it. I'm using a old vinyl squeegee that I had. It's probably not ideal, but it'll work for what I'm doing. Like I said, not a body guy, but I know some things. Once you apply this hardener and start mixing it, this stuff gets hard pretty fast, so we're going to try to move pretty fast here. I don't know how much of this I'll get on video. And you just mix her together. Man, this stuff, I love the way filler smells. It's like my favorite. I don't know why, but it is. Alright, I'm going to go over here, start putting some of this on before it gets too hard where I can't use it. This is a self-leveler type of putty, so it kind of lays flat. Like I said, we're gonna do our best here with what we got. Set. Smooching some of this shit on here. Alright, got the filler on there. Gonna let it dry. Now we're gonna work on the other side. Alright, so we cut this little piece out. And it just lays right in there like that. I'm gonna start on this end, tack it up, and slowly just bend it around in the shape. It should fall pretty damn close. So we may shorten it up just a scotch because it will grow a little, and it looks like it's going to be really tight right there. So we may knock the end of it off a little bit, but that's going to be that. Alrighty, got some weld through primer on there on the back side of my got it tacked in there nice and good. Good little fit. We're going to go ahead and proceed to weld it in. Alright, our mud's all dry. Now we are going to sand it down and see how much we need to reapply. I did get this side all welded up. I'm going to have to grind it down some. Alright, got the first coat sanded down. I'm going to go back and fill in some of these crevices here that you see, just to smooth it out. That stuff's super tough. I love it. It works really well. So, going to go ahead and finish that out. Alright guys, got the filler all sanded down nice and smooth. Good enough for a firewall for this rig. Like I said, no professional. I just know a little bit about doing this. So. I got all this prepped and cleaned with some prep all, and now we are just going to dust some primer on there to seal it up. Let that dry. While that's drying, we'll go over here on this side again and sand our mud on this side, and probably go ahead and weld in the patch panel over there. Yeah, let's get some primer dusted on this. Alright, so we've got our piece here. It's going to go back in that hole. It's got some rust on the back side of it that we're going to sand off and then put some rust inhibitor on it to pre-treat it. And then we're going to grind the edges of it just a little bit. That way it fits in the hole loose. That way we can get good weld all the way around it. It'll fit up a little better that way as well. So I got one side in primer, it's drying. Let's see if I can show you guys that. Got this side in primer, it is drying. And then this side I've got one coat filler on it and got it sanded down. Going to go ahead and apply a second coat to fill the low spots, get it sanded back down. And then before I obviously put any primer or anything on that side, I'm going to go ahead and weld this piece in. That way all my welding is done. Then from there on out it's just a little bit of body work and paint, or primer and paint. Got that wire reeled off, and now we are going to go ahead and grind the edges down to get it to fit in the hole a little better. Got her in the paint booth here. Alrighty, got the last panel tacked in. I'm just gonna finish welding it out. Then we'll grind it down, bodywork this one more time, get some color on both sides. And then I can't get the clear until tomorrow, the satin clear. So if you could tell here, I did a test spray on this piece. It's kind of hard to tell, but on right here is the line. The paint they mixed me up is on this side. It's a little darker than what's on the truck. That's because the original paint we put on here on this side was the same color as that before we put the satin clear. When we put the satin clear over it, it kind of washed it out a little bit, which is okay. I kind of like that color better anyways. It's not so bright blue, so we're gonna get some color on this stuff here and then hit the clear on it tomorrow, get the hood back on it. While it's in here, I do have to replace this radiator. I don't know why, but between the tank and where it attaches to the core is leaking, probably because of cheap radiator. But man, I put cheap radiators in about everything that I have. They do really good. This is the first time I've ever had a problem with one, but man, you can't tell me that they're not getting these radiators from the same place in China everywhere. So I just bought another $100-something radiator. We'll slap it in there, probably get this one repaired just for a backup or something, hanging up on the shelf. So gaining on it. We'll get the hood on it tomorrow and take this thing for a test drive. All right, we finally got color on this unit here. Check it out, check it out. Looking good, looking good. The sheen's a little, like this side's dry. The other side was still wet, but the sheen is a little shinier for some reason than this one. Obviously that one's got dust and stuff on it still, but I don't know, it's weird. Maybe it'll lay down a little better. But I used the same clear as I did the first time. The Spray Max 2K 368 0067. It's a satin clear. went ahead and finished body working this after I got off work. Primed it, painted it. It's got one coat of color on it. Do one more color coat, and then we are going to clear it and let it cure, and then we will get the hood and stuff hung on it. In the meantime, like I told you guys sometime back, I don't remember, got a radiator leak, so I'm going to walk you guys through that. And yeah, let's get started. Also, I think we've settled on a channel name. I think we're gonna call it Goob's Vintage. So we like all things vintage, and my dad used to call myself and sometimes my sister, I called my sister this sometimes, he used to call us Goob. I think he was even called that when he was younger as well. So I like it. It's a different name, kind of be able to set us apart to have something different instead of just like another garage or anything, which is like, it's fine to name your something whatever your name is, garage. Like my day shop is Dale's Garage. I just didn't want that for the channel, so we're going Goob Vintage because we just like vintage stuff, with our spin on it a little bit. So we are, I think that's gonna stick, and that's what we're gonna go with. We'll get Casey Harris over at Harris Art Co. to get us a logo made. He does all of our shindig stuff. I have the capabilities to make my own logo. I just don't have the time. So we're going to pass it on to him and let him come up with and do what he does, because he's really good at his job. So let him do his thing. So let's get going on this radiator